Well, hey, good evening, y'all. I am sitting out in my patio in the rainstorm. A news story has just broken recently that I want to bring straight to y'all's attention and kind of break it down the way I do for you when it comes to what it actually means for us. So, over the last week, we've seen several banks completely fail, lose all their assets, be delisted, and taken over by the government, leaving us as the investor completely helpless. And now we have news that has just happened again. So this bank's called New York's based Signature Bank, which has a number of clients, including crypto, shut down Sunday by state regulators. The Federal Reserve has just announced. Another bank. In a statement, the New York Department of Financial Services said the Federal Depository Insurance Corporation, that's the FDIC, basically the people that insure your money in the event of, a bank robbery or a total failure of a bank, has taken receivership of the bank. This marks the third bank collapse in 1 week following Silvergate Bank's voluntary liquidation and the Silicon Valley Bank, who we've talked about already this week, shut down on Wednesday and Friday. Harris said the action was taken to protect depositors. So they're shutting these banks down to protect the people that have money in the bank. Again, here we are right back to it. Hey, who had next Great Depression in mid-March on your What's Going to Happen in 2023 book? Not me. I mean, well, what is happening here? So Signature Bank is a New York state-chartered commercial bank and FDIC insured with total assets of $110 billion, total deposits of $88.59 billion as of the end of the year. They're in close contact with regulation entities in light of market events, monitoring market trends, and collaborating closely with other regulators to protect consumers, ensure the health of the entities, and preserve the stability of the global financial system. So, to preserve our financial system, they are closing and taking over banks. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I think they're going to put it at a point where you can no longer access your money, where it's going to be like the Great Depression. We're going to see a run on banks where people are going to go there and stand in line to withdraw all their money. And that's what caused the Great Depression, was the complete vacuum of liquidity where everyone who could get money took it, dragging the stock market all the way down and making banks go out of business, calling in all their loans with everyone, calling in your mortgages, calling in every loan there could be to try to get the money to pay people with who just wanted their own money back. We are announcing similar risk exception for Signature Bank, New York, which was closed today by the state chartering authority. All depositors will be made whole. No losses will be borne by the taxpayer. So, great. Losses may not be borne by the taxpayer, but what if you need your money now? What if you have money in Bitcoin, in crypto, in XRP, and you want to pull that money out? So, great. You just don't have access to it. What if you were using these accounts to pay your mortgage? It just isn't there now. Now, magically, yes, they will get to you. FDIC in due time will get to you and get you your money eventually. What if you need your money today? What if you can't wait 6 months for them to adjudicate who gets what when? So, collapse of startup backer Silicon Valley Bank this week continues to cause ripples across the tech industry, with Etsy as the latest company to voice concerns after announcing a transaction freeze. So, here's this person. Notice today my money that was supposed to be deposited to be available tomorrow was never sent to my checking account, an Etsy seller said. Then I get an email saying because of the Silicon Valley Bank, they can't issue my deposit. Here's the thing. As a small business owner, I don't have the ability or the time to run and manage my own website. So we utilize Etsy for online purchases, and I am personally affected by this. Personally. I rely on that money for operating capital on a day-to-day basis. And now I'm not going to have access to it until Etsy decides that it's going to go ahead and transfer me my money. Lady goes on to say, my money that I worked hard for, they can't send to my bank account. The money I was expecting to have in my bank account tomorrow, they will not send me. How is that my problem? FDIC announced Friday that it would close SVB, which was the 16th largest bank in America, which was basically a startup bank to lend people money for their burgeoning businesses. Their collapse was so quick, some industry analysts hope that the bank is still a good investment. However, shares have fallen 60% on Friday. Etsy joined the ranks of companies impacted by the closure, which already include crypto banks, kids retailers, coffee companies, who basically are saying it's trickled down and they're being severely impacted. And I have so many concerns here. If you look at it, like I was talking about earlier, like as a history major, one of the issues that I see here is this is hearkening back to, like I said earlier, the great stock market crash, the Great Depression. The stock market has already, as we've alluded to previously, shown that it doesn't really have a lot of backing in reality at the moment. It's just a crazy situation right now with extreme volatility, earnings being reported well. However, companies still fail to meet whatever some people say, and their stock drops 20%. And then other companies become these meme stocks where they skyrocket through the roof after they announce that they're going to go out of business. So you've got all these things happening. Stock market has no basis in reality. And now we have three major banks either shutting down, liquidating, or being taken over by the federal government, and the federal government urging caution, urging everyone to not go crazy and try to come get their money. Because the thing is, if we start to do that, we may have another Great Depression on our hands. And what happens when that happens? Are you prepared? Do you have the money set aside to pay your mortgage for the next 2 to 5 years? Do you have your money set aside in a way where you don't need it through cryptocurrency, which you now can't access? Or in my case, is your business set up to survive a Great Depression? 60 to 70% of small businesses are closing within a year right now. I've seen it where my store is. Companies who 2 years ago were amazing, gone. I've got a couple of videos that I've shown you guys in the last couple of days what the mall looks like. There's nobody there. So now what we're seeing is federal government taking over failing and failed banks. How do we protect our money? And the answer is, I think you have to consider the possibility of making purchases into gold and silver and some of the hard assets that are never going to be able to be taken away from you. Have those things in your safe, in your gun safe, under your bed, under your pillow. It doesn't matter. But what happens here? I mean, inflation is up, value of the dollar is down, banks are closing. Are we on the verge of another Great Depression? I think the answer coming is very possibly yes. They're urging caution. And I'm here to tell you, as a soldier, when the government tells you nobody panic, might be time to start considering it. So in any eventuality, I've got some other videos here based in preparedness for the possibility of crazy events coming down. Highly recommend, if you guys haven't watched those yet, give them a watch. I'm going to stay on this topic. I'm going to keep drilling down into it for you guys so that you can just tune in and I can give you the information you're going to need, because this is potentially disastrous for the United States. So thank you guys so much for watching tonight. I'll stay on top of this topic, and you guys have a good night. Like I said, start thinking about how you're going to take care of your finances.